have been.
Where did you dig up that old fossil?
Going into Toshi Station to pick up some power converters.
That's no moon.
We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Welcome to the Star Wars Nerds Podcast. I'm Dan Vedabonker.
And I'm Kenton Larson.
And Kenton, we're of course going to talk about the 5th episode of Obi-Wan, which dropped this week. We're going to dive right into it. But first, I just look out for these funny little Star Wars products. And they're often advertised to me because I am a Star Wars fan, as are you. So we either see them in the grocery store or advertise them online. So this one I love it's Sensi. Are you familiar with Sensi, Kenton?
Oh yeah, am I ever. I have a relative in the family who sells the Sensi.
Oh, there we go. Well, maybe this relative might have this product because this is a Sensi product, Star Wars Dark Side of the Force. They have a whole line of Star Wars scents, but this is I want to read this one specifically. Star Wars Dark Side of the Force Sensi Bar. Feel the power of this fully armed and operational fragrance, churning with lavender, Madagascar ginger, velveteer, and agarwood. When mixed with the Star Wars light side of the Force Sensi Bar, the two slowly blend to create an amazing fragrance that brings balance to the Force in a perfect shade of Sensi purple. Each Star Wars Dark Side of the Force Sensi Bar comes with one of 4 collectible labels selected at random, so try to be sure to stock up on them all.
Well, for the first episode of Obi-Wan, the Jawa tells him he stinks a couple of times.
That's right. He needs a few of these.
Yeah,
now,
right.
the other thing they have here that's kind of cool is they have these Sensi buddies. So they have these little stuffed guys. I'll try and show you to you here.
Oh yeah.
See that? It's like a little stuffed Darth Vader, and they have a Leia. And it's like a little thing you can put your Sensi in because it's basically just a thing that melts the wax and the smell comes out. So I guess there's a way to do that inside a stuffy now. There's the Leia one.
Oh, very good.
Kind of cool too. So that's cool. But I love the way they write these things. If I ever get a job writing again for advertising, I just want it to be for like Star Wars products, so I could just work Star Wars puns into the copy. That would just be my dream job, I think.
I get to do some of that stuff for a company I will not name on the podcast. I get to still do some of that stuff, and it's surprisingly hard to do. Like you usually get a word count. They'll say we need 50 words on this, and it's like it's like that. It's like a candle. It's something that's so innocuous that your first thought is always, I can't write 50 words on this thing, and then before you know, you put something together. So when you read that copy, I thought, yeah, that's pretty good copy. That's pretty good. It's not easy to write copy, like catalog style copy.
Yeah.
For a
and
product.
Work the Star Wars theme into it. So that's pretty good. Okay. Good. Anyway, I'll place my order, and you can expect it in your mailbox soon. All right.
In my mailbox? Thank you, Dan. You shouldn't have.
You stink. All right.
Hey, I just thought of something. It's not Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's Obi-O Wan Kenobi.
Okay. All right. Speaking of which, episode 5, I love this episode. It was so good. And again, I said the last one wasn't great. This one was much, much better, I thought. So much happens here. Overall thoughts before we jump into it?
I think, as usual, how I'd like to frame this is I love the episode. There is some of the greatest moments in Star Wars in a long time. I haven't thought about how long it's been since we've had Star Wars moments like this, but incredible, big, awesome Star Wars moments. And then I have some nitpicky stuff to talk about when it's all over. But overall, grand scheme of things, I loved it. How about you?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and I agree. I think that, it's not perfect. Obviously, there's always things you can nitpick, but we're just doing it for fun. We're just doing it because it's stuff that we notice, right? That's the fun of this conversation is we notice these things. Maybe listeners notice them too, and they agree or disagree. So that's kind of part of this. And why am I explaining this? I don't know. Anyway, okay. So where do you want to start here? Go ahead.
Before you even start, just revisiting, last week we had the discussion about do they ever say Riva in the series, and today one of our friends online, Day Walker, and he reminded us that in the first episode one of the Inquisitors calls her Riva and pronounces it Riva. So I listened to another podcast this morning and I won't name it, but where they go all the way through their discussion and they all say Reva all the way through, but we have definitive evidence that it is spoken and it is Riva. So there you go. So anyway, we can settle that issue once and for all.
Sure. But people still say it the way they say it. Hey, it's funny how that happens. And something I've noticed a lot more in my viewing lately is just how often character names are said, how often we're supposed to pay attention to them. Like again, I think they focused on Wade too much last episode. And they showed it again in the recap. They showed that moment again. Why is Wade so important to somebody? Like they kept showing Wade dying. I don't know. I didn't know what's going on.
I think he had a bigger role in some other edit. It had to be, and then to apologize to the actor, they made a big deal about it or something. But but it's become a meme, and everybody, and plus his name is so wimpy. It's just it's a wimpy Star Wars name, I should say, yes. Wade, because it's a real world name that kind of doesn't translate into the Star Wars universe as well as some of the other ones. But I think I kind of like the fact that it's become a thing. that it's probably the least significant character with the greatest supposed emotional impact.
Okay, so this one starts us off a little bit differently. We start off in a flashback here, right?
Woo, yes.
Man. And so we see Obi-Wan is fighting Anakin. It's like a practice fight. Like you can see this is kind of taking place sometime between, I guess, around Attack of the Clones or after Attack of the Clones and before Revenge of the Sith, right?
Yeah, around, I guess we don't, I guess before, it could even be slightly before Attack of the Clones. Now that I think about it, the way and it's a bit, I noticed something this week, and that is, you and I are original trilogy fans. The fans of the prequels are very nitpicky about the way these characters look in this scene. They're riding it. They're critical of it, and I just loved it. I think the scene is a very beautifully done scene, and I love how they tie it into the plot, which is genius, which is a great. I thought we'd see the Clone Wars itself, but we don't. We see the sparring, something we've not seen before, so that's really good. And I also have to say that sure, you can whatever nitpick or argue the de-aging or the aging or whatever you think. But this is the first time I bought Hayden Christensen as the future Darth Vader. As Anakin Skywalker is going to be an evil, mean, and he looked a little bit bigger. He got buffed. He got a little more buffed up, I think. He looked a little older, and he looked meaner. So I liked it a lot. I really like this scene. What did you think?
I like that, and also I like that they keep cutting back. Like I was disappointed because I'm like they cut away and like, whoa, wait, what are we doing? I want to see the fight. What are you doing? But then they keep coming back to it, and they kind of intersperse it throughout the episode, and it's all like clearly flashbacks. It's all Vader thinking of this, right? They're always they always cut to him right after.
I'm not sure we know that. I think. I don't think it. I mean, you could interpret it that way, but you could interpret it another way too, which is the show is just giving us flashbacks. It's showing us flashbacks to inform what's happening in the present. So I don't. The first one looks like it's Vader thinking about it, but then after that, I don't know.
Okay, maybe not.
I don't think. But the ultimate punchline of this scene would imply that Vader is not thinking about it, because if he were, he'd be ready for what then happens.
Right. Exactly.
So it's hard to say.
Now, and then we get from that we go to Vader and Reva, and he makes her now this is where he rewards her, makes her the Grand Inquisitor. Now, given what happens later, why do you think that he does this?
It's all a show. I
don't know. Yeah, they go through all this show of like making her the Inquisitor, but I don't understand the purpose of it other than to fool her and to say, ha ha, made you think you were the Grand Inquisitor. Like, I don't know what the point
everybody's is. Disposable. All the Inquisitors and Stormtroopers and whoever, they're all disposable. So I think,
and recyclable apparently, because that Grand Inquisitor, although we knew he was going to come back because of the cartoon. He's in the cartoon Rebels. So we knew that he didn't really. You said that in another episode. He didn't really die when he got stabbed in the stomach.
No.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves. But in this scene, we see, makes her the Grand Inquisitor, gives her a little badge, and then we see Obi-Wan and crew come back to the planet where I guess all the other refugees are waiting. Now I like that they take this. They say, we had to hold on this ship that is trying to get all these people out of here to go rescue you. Now we have to get these people out of here. We have a couple hours max. Let's go. And they're trying to get these people out of the base. I love that.
Yeah, I like it too. I think that's a good place for them to be. And I'll save my nitpicky stuff about the base for later. But
I think I know where you're going to go with that. But yes, go ahead.
There's a few things to say about that. But anyway, let's save it. Let's save it for the nitpicky section of the podcast. But
Okay.
I like the setup too. I like the setup very much. And I thought we were going to get another duel down there. Did you? Did you think another duel was coming up with Obi-Wan and Darth?
You're getting ahead of me. I'm not there yet.
Like at the beginning where they set up, we're here and they're there. Did you think that?
No, I didn't know.
Oh, I did. I thought.
I don't know. I just.
This is the second battle, I said to myself, between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, that's final episode stuff. It's got to be the final episode. But he does notice like there's a lot. You can see they show a bunch of lightsabers. They show all these signatures again. So you can see lots of Jedi have come through here. So they are still building out this idea of this underground railroad. These people, and this I guess is another stage of it, right? That they're evacuating these people on this ship.
Okay, so what does the box of lightsabers mean?
It means that that means that these people have given up their lightsabers, given up the Force.
They've given up, just like Obi-Wan buried his, the same idea?
Yeah.
So they've put them in a box because the Jedis can't be caught with them, or else they
can't use the Force. I think probably if they were to use their lightsaber, the temptation would be too great to use it, maybe, or use the Force. And if they use the Force, they can be detected by the Inquisitors. So that's probably why. I don't know. Or they're the dead Jedis, or they're from dead Jedis, right? That's the other thing.
I thought they were setting us up for later on in the show for a bunch of the folks down there to turn out to be Jedis. I thought that that's what might happen, or that they might all take a lightsaber up, trained or not.
We could have a recreation of the arena battle.
Well,
with all the computer coders and everybody, all the special effects guys in there.
All the Lucasfilm programmers come running out. Yeah, but I was sort of I thought that was a setup, and maybe it is a setup to something else we're going to see in the finale. But I expected it to pay off in this episode.
Yeah. I have to say I'm pretty disappointed with the plan these guys come up with, and I don't know. Can we start the nitpicky section, because this is when I start to get nitpicky about it.
Okay, let's get. All right, well, and I got something related from the prior. I mean,
okay, go ahead. You continue. Go ahead.
Okay, we talked about the base. I just have a little nitpicky stuff about the base in terms of it seems like when Vader lands on Hoth, that seems like it's something. It's like a real attack and a real offensive put on by the Empire. And the attack on this base seems a little small in comparison, which is okay. It's not the end of the line. But I never got a sense of scale the way I do with the Hoth battle, which really set it up in a big, grand ways, in a way that you're like, oh my God, this is coming. And this one was a little small in terms of it coming.
Yeah, I agree. And also light on the details as far as explaining other things. Like I'm sitting there going, well, you can get that door open all you want, but there's a Star Destroyer sitting in orbit. How are you going to get past that? Like how the hell? I don't even remember how they do it, but like forget about the door. You have to get, and in Empire Strikes Back, they have the ion cannon that shoots and disables the Star Destroyer so they can get past and get to light speed. That makes sense. A very quick, easy explanation of how they do that. Nothing like that in this, as far as I can remember.
Right. They don't set it. Well, part of the reason they don't set us up is they don't want to spoil a surprise. But you're right. Our understanding of a plan is a little like, we know they want to open the thing. We know they want to open the roof, the sky dome.
They need to get the sunroof open. Yeah.
Yeah, we know they want to do that, but we don't fully. You're right. We don't fully understand what the plan might be.
Like, what are you gonna do after that? And by the way, the plan is stick Princess Leia up a tunnel and see if she can figure it out. Like, come on.
I mean, I know, and similarly, she solves the problem of Lola quite simply in a almost comically simple way. Which is kind of a
restraining bolt.
Well, it's not even that. It's like a fridge magnet, basically. She just goes like beep.
Yeah. I think doesn't Luke have to work a little harder to get that thing off of R2 in the first film?
Oh yeah. Like this was like nothing. It truly was child's play. The child did it because it was child's play. Okay, so you're right. I agree with you. If we're being nitpicky, I agree with you on that for sure.
But that's Star Wars is always the case. The plan is never great. Like we've seen this over and over again in these films and TV shows. It's a weak plan, but they still manage to get out top usually. That's kind of what I guess that's kind of what makes it suspenseful is that it's kind of a crappy plan, but they can't do anything else. And I guess this is their only option, right? So this is what they do.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's but as I say, like I think the most direct comparison to what we're seeing here is Hoth, is Empire Strikes Back Hoth kind of stuff, where Vader comes marching down through the. But
it's not that scale
trenches.
because here I'm just looking at the shot right now of the like their stormtroopers lining. It looks like a platoon of stormtroopers, maybe like that, maybe 50, maybe 100, sitting there, and a couple of those dark troopers in the middle there. Are those new? Those little dark trooper guys? Can you see?
They're purge troopers.
What are they?
Purge troopers
What
from the video game. Oh man, what video game was it? It's I played Fallen Order and Battlefront 2 around the same time. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But
I'm thinking of Battlefront 2. Now I don't know what.
Was it Battlefront? Remember you're playing the female TIE fighter pilot?
Yes, that's Battlefront 2.
And it kind of has that look.
Yeah.
So it's a purge trooper. I don't remember. Hey, someone's going to correct us again. So
sure.
Good.
Thanks, Chris.
Please do.
Okay, so then we get and then Reva shows up, and then they're gonna assault. So it's much smaller. This is not the assault on. I don't think they can justify the amount of resources that they used in Hoth or will use in Hoth. It's just a much smaller thing. It's only a few people here. It's not like as many rebels as was on Hoth, so they're just gonna send one platoon. But my question is, why doesn't Vader go down there to begin with? Like, why does he bother sending them down? We've seen that he can just like tear his way through anything.
Well, there's logistical things in this episode too, if we're being nitpicky, where and hey, we can lump them all together. There's why doesn't he go down at the beginning? There's also a lot of I'm leaving the base. I'm coming into the base. The doors are open. The doors are closed. I walk through some doors, and watching it, I was a little unclear about some of the where people were going and why. And which doors were open, which doors are closed,
and what doors are being shot at, and what doors don't need. And by the way, we don't need to do any of it because she needs to just cut through with their lightsaber like they've done a million times before.
Well, and also, does opening the roof also open the other doors?
Right.
How would this kid know?
Oh,
how would the kid know what needs to be done here?
Well, she did end up getting help from the droid, but
from Lola. So for me, there was, I kept expecting things based on where I thought they were. So like their placement and the overall thing, and I was constantly wrong. But I think part of that was because there wasn't lots of time to lay out who was where and where that was in relation to other things.
Yeah.
So a little bit of confusion there for sure.
We have this moment where now, does Tala die before this happens? I might have skipped over it. Tala dies.
Oh, that I hated that because I love that character and I love the droid. That was a very emotional scene. That was an emotional scene. Remember the droid? You judge the droid not by what he says, but by his action. Mm-hmm. And that droid had a heart of gold. Ned B, who by the way, that sounds a lot like Ned Beatty. So I kept thinking, is that a tribute to Ned Beatty?
It has to be. It has to be.
You think it's got to, right?
Sure.
Okay, so Ned B and her death scene. Okay, they went out like champs with the hand grenade. What's that called? Thermal detonator.
Thermal detonator. Yeah.
Yeah, but oh man, I like that character. And truth be told, she was one of the best actors in this show, without a doubt. I just thought she was so good. I just wanted her to make it to the last episode.
Yeah, and they even hinted at like Obi-Wan could have been a love interest and that kind of stuff. Like there was this possibility for Obi-Wan to have somebody else in his life because he hasn't had anybody, right? And we keep cutting back to this. And again, I love this whole lightsaber duel. I would like to see the whole lightsaber duel as a scene, uncut.
Which lightsaber duel?
Sorry, the flashbacks to the Clone Wars. So that would be awesome. But I love the way they keep cutting back to it. The one I just saw, it was also like cut together with Darth Vader, so he is thinking about it in this instance.
Well, he can't be thinking about it right till the end because he gets the same. The lesson of the
Oh,
lightsaber battle was lost on Darth Vader.
yes, and we forgot. Sorry, that's what I forgot. The big reveal in this episode, in the middle of all that, they stop and they talk through the doors.
Oh,
Right,
yes.
Obi-Wan and Reva, and they discover that Reva was, as we suspected, a Padawan, and we get to see more of the slaughter of the Padawans, like this moment where Anakin just kills all the kids.
I never
pretty
thought
dark.
we'd see that. Yeah, I never thought they'd show us that. And remember the complaint about Disney was they're making Star Wars too gentle. They're going to turn it into an amusement park ride.
Yeah.
And then you see that scene, and that scene's terrifying. I thought that scene was really terrifying. I don't know I don't know if kids could watch that scene.
Well, we were at a meeting yesterday. One of our coworkers said that he couldn't watch it with his kids. Not that one, but the one where Darth Vader was tearing apart the town and stuff. That one was too scary for his kids. Like that kind of stuff. It really is, and that's fine. Like because there's a lot of older Star Wars fans, and not everything has to be for kids, right? I think that's what they're trying to say with this. It's like, we're gonna make this Star Wars for different levels of fans. But yeah, very, very impactful. And so Reva's now. What do you think of this whole turnaround of Reva's character? Like we know she wants to kill Darth Vader. Does this really seem like the logical path for her?
Well, I mentioned that in one of our podcasts. I said we don't know what her goal is, and her goal could be to kill Darth Vader. Right? Of course, you always have to. You can't count that out when you're dealing with the Empire.
With the Sith, really, because it's kind of part of their religion, isn't it? Always like the apprentice always kills the master in the Sith or something like that.
But she's not a Sith. She's just
right.
She's an Inquisitor, true. But I do think that was always. I always thought that was in play, but we're no closer. She does not convert to the light side. Mm-hmm. She kind of rejects the dark side at the same time. It's up in the air, and certainly when it ends, it's up in the air, kind of where she falls in the overall overarching good versus bad kind of thing. But I did back to logistics for 1 second. Mm-hmm. The whispering and talking about things in front of stormtroopers here gets a little where it's like, can they do the stormtroopers hear this? Okay, the whispering, all right, they can't hear that. But then there's a conversation later on in front of stormtroopers that I thought, no, you could not have this conversation here, because anybody who heard that conversation in the Empire would warn Darth Vader about this conversation. So there's
right.
Then so we have to imagine that no one else can hear what they're saying, right? I think that's the only way that this works.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Otherwise, sir.
Yeah.
Now, Vader does finally show up, of course, and this was cool. Actually, I was not expecting this.
So good.
Kind of like a moment of I want to think, is that a nod to the Rise of Skywalker when he tries to stop the ship with the Force? That's what I thought of.
I think it's what's his name, Star Killer from the game. There's a whole level on that game where you're trying to pull. What is the name of that game? Where you're
the
Vader's,
Force Unleashed. Force Unleashed.
Yes. Vader's Secret Apprentice game.
Right.
There's a whole level where you're trying to pull the thing out of the sky. I can't remember if it's a Star Destroyer or what it is, but it's one of the most painful, hard levels to play in a video game, so I can't forget it. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely reminded me of that. And I think, if anything, that's the one that might have influenced the one in Rise of Skywalker too.
Oh, okay. Well, I
think that was the first one. Yeah.
I mean, we've certainly seen. This is the first time we've seen Vader do this, but this is like, oh man, just such a great, and he just like holds it there for a second. But the question is, like, is there not a Star Destroyer up in orbit that could stop that ship?
Well, that could be continued, right? We're not out of the woods.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, there could be a chase.
Yeah.
Right.
We're not out of the woods, so I'll give them that. But Vader holds the ship, and to me, and that was like, holy.
Wait, no, he doesn't. They don't get away. He pulls the ship apart. Oh yeah, there's another.
They get away.
Right?
Yeah.
There's a secret. There's a switcheroo. That's what made me think of the Rise of Skywalker. Because don't they do that in the Rise of Skywalker, where they think Chewbacca's dead, and then it's like, oh no, he's not in that ship.
Fusion-based switcheroo. That wasn't bait and switch with intent.
That
was. I thought I did this, but really, that something else happened. It was just forgetfulness in Rise of Skywalker.
Right.
And this one, it's bait and switch with intent.
Okay.
So he pulls it down. To me, the big, I thought, whoa, like he's so angry when he pulls it down. And then he rips it apart and he goes, rip, rip. And he just tosses it like nothing. And then it's my favorite shot. And the whole thing is through the windows of the destroyed ship. You see the other one go, rip, and take off like a rocket. And you're just like, oh, he fell for the, he is, Vader is such a little biatch. He fell for the oldest trick in the book, which like you can pull something down out of the sky, but we're still gonna make you look like you don't know what the hell you're doing, which was I thought was so funny. And he's just looking at it like, oh brother, oh no,
egg on my face, man.
Yeah, but
I feel stupid.
I got a real kick out of that scene. And of course, you can go, why didn't he just pull the other one down? It's like, well, because he just used his force powers. He's tired.
He just used
like
up all the force. Yep.
Right. He used it up. So I thought that was a wonderful scene. And I thought, wow, if that's all they give us, we are good as gold. But they gave us more because Dummy decides now's the right time.
Ooh, I don't know why she thought that. That was.
I guess Obi-Wan planted the idea, but he planted only the idea. He wasn't I thought he was like, okay, the two of us together will fight Vader. I thought that's what he meant.
Yeah, like I was getting his message like, okay, hang tight, let's figure something out. We got to get out of here, but we'll come to. Like I thought they were going to be working, and maybe they will work together. But did she die? Anyway, anyway, she comes up to Vader. She confronts him finally. And he says he always knew. I don't know if that's true. But
yeah, well, he clearly does because he stops her without even looking at her. He stops her from attacking him.
I guess so.
And then I think one of the greatest lightsaber battles in all of Star Wars. The first time we've ever seen red versus red in Star Wars.
But not really, because he never pulls his own lightsaber in this. This is amazing. He does the whole thing, and she's got a double lightsaber. She's got a freaking Darth Maul special. I guess it's the what's it called, Inquisitor special. Actually, it's because it's also a helicopter blade one as well. And he just like tears it apart. He pulls it apart. He like takes one and they have a fight, but he never pulls his own the whole time. He just does it all with the Force.
Well, he does use when he breaks her lightsaber in half. They have that a brief lightsaber fight because he
gives it to her.
He uses the Force first, which is amazing, just sidestepping it, like barely trying. Like, you are so inconsequential, I don't even need a lightsaber for the lightsaber fight. And then I love the new move, the lift and push. I lift your lightsaber up and I push you back, like, and there's nothing you can do. Then he slows down the spinning saber, breaks it in half, and he throws her half of it. It's like, hey, let's keep playing because you are you don't have a chance of beating me. So here, take your lightsaber back, which I thought was particularly good. And then they fight some more. And something to discuss for sure is she has the flashback again to Anakin Skywalker, Order 66. And it appears, and whether she's imagining this or it actually happened, Vader gets the lightsaber through her side, and it appears that Anakin originally had done the same thing to her at the temple. In the flashback, you can see him.
Okay, yeah.
So maybe it's a callback to that. He wants to keep her alive, though, because there's another surprise, and that's where the Inquisitor walks out. The Grand
Inquisitor, the real Grand Inquisitor. Yeah. Yes.
So I think, why didn't he just kill her? The Inquisitor, Grand Inquisitor, needs to come out and do his talk, and so they needed to humiliate her one more time. And I think the blade may have been what happened the first time when he saw her at the temple. That might have been a callback to that. But I did think that Vader was just going to chop her head off.
Yeah, like why would they? He just stabs her in the stomach and then they leave her there. Of course she's going to be okay. Yeah, he comes back and does his little spiel here. I don't like this guy. He's good. I mean, he's good. He's a good villain and everything, but you really don't like him. You don't want him to be alive.
I like the Inquisitor. I like him.
Yeah, but it's always the stomach wound, right? That's like he gets a stomach wound. He's okay. She's got a stomach wound. I think I tried to look to see where he stabbed her. Yeah, it's in the side or the stomach.
Yeah, it's kind of.
And they just leave her there. They leave her behind, leave her to die. I don't like the being left to die, because Vader of all people should know that when you're left to die, you're not. You don't die. People can come get you, right?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I always think Star Wars has to be careful about things like this because now we can't trust anybody who gets a lightsaber in the gut, even though that's how Qui-Gon died.
And it's all most of the stormtroopers have died in the series right now. It's like Obi-Wan, when he's killing stormtroopers, he's just slashing them across the belly. That's really what he's doing. Okay, so then we come back to
he surgically impales her, I guess, and she's not dead. There's no way because Dummy, what's his name?
Kumail Nanjiani.
Oh yeah. Oh sorry, Haja is his name on the show.
Is that okay? Kumail. Anyway.
Yeah, Dummy drops the message from Bale in the sand. Oh, Butterfingers. And she crawls toward it and finds out it gets the key words, I think. What is it? Owen, Tatooine, boy. Yeah. Like,
any other three words? Any other three? What about the or?
Oh, you idiot. They should send him back on principle. They should send him back in an escape pod to go back and get it.
But I guess this means that we're going to end up back on Tatooine for the final episode, right?
I never thought in a million years I never thought, how can we have a duel between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader back on Tatooine? Well, the only way we can do it is if Luke Skywalker is nowhere near it.
Well, but the thing is, they showed him. Yeah. The final shot of this is like this kid sleeping, so they show him sleeping there. So obviously, they're gonna do something with him next episode. But yeah, I don't know. But you knew they were coming. You said Aunt Beru has been credited, so you knew they were gonna come back to Tatooine.
I thought it might just be 2 seconds at the end.
Oh yeah.
I thought it just might be sort of like the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's the twins. Okay, bye. Have a good day. You know, he walks away. And I thought maybe it could be as simple as that. It could be one more discussion between him and Owen to warn him of danger and that kind of thing. But it looks like we're going right in. We're going in. And and I don't know why would Reva, what could Reva do with this information? Like,
she knows that's where Obi-Wan's going to be.
Yeah.
She wants to go find Obi-Wan to get him to help kill Anakin.
Well, Vader is she can't go back to Vader with it, right? Or can she?
No.
I
don't think that's going to happen. No, because he left her to die. She's going to go to Tatooine and try and recruit Obi-Wan again.
Try to recruit Obi-Wan or try to get Luke in order to make that.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah.
Maybe that's
training her own. She's got to start training her own Padawan. Forget this Vader stuff. Forget this Inquisitor stuff. Oh, maybe that's it. She's going to go after Force sensitive kids. I don't know. But I don't think she knows. I really don't think she knows that these are Vader's kids.
No, she does not.
Okay. So that's like, I think that's still in the dark about that. I was really worried for a second there because that's what that communicator gives away. Yeah. I was worried Vader was going to find it. He knows who Bail Organa is. He could figure that out, right? That's what I was worried about. I didn't like. She's got it. Fine, it's fine. But if Vader had found it, then game over.
Yeah, I think that's true. I thought that's what was going to happen. And they got to tiptoe around this stuff because Vader can't know about a lot of stuff. Yeah. based on the original trilogy.
Yeah.
But I thought we had one drawing, some pre-production art that was released that showed us Vader versus Obi-Wan from the series, and it looked like Mustafar to me.
Okay, yeah, that's right. You're right.
But how much time have we got in this last episode?
Well, that
something
leads
around
into
planet to planet.
You were telling me for the final episode they're going to be showing it in theaters, correct?
They are.
And how long is it?
Well, it said okay, so it's the last episode and it's a Q&A. And it says 1 hour and 33 minutes. So I tweeted, "Oh, look, it's feature length." But then Chris Schiffman, who is sometimes on our podcast, Chris Schiffman then responded, "Well, maybe that includes the Q&A." But to me, it's an odd time, 1 hour and 33 minutes. Like it's possible that the final episode is 1 hour and 3 minutes, and the Q&A is 30 minutes. That's possible. Or maybe it's 1 hour and 33 minutes plus a Q&A. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it.
But the Q&A is only available in the theater version, so whatever comes up on I guess we'll know when it finally is released on Disney Plus what the Q&A will be. But it could be an hour and a half. Like, I don't think it's that unreasonable for it to be an hour and a half long episode. Given everything that's got to happen, there's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, what has to happen? What do you think has to happen in this final episode?
Qui-Gon. We need Qui-Gon
Yep.
at some point.
Yep.
We need to get Leia back to Alderaan.
Wipe her memory somehow.
Maybe Bale didn't die on Alderaan. Maybe he died on Tatooine.
Maybe.
Because he's going to meet Obi-Wan there too. He said, "Yeah, I'm going to meet you there." So they're all heading to Tatooine.
Yes.
So we got to resolve that. We have to protect Luke. We have to. Sorry, go ahead.
Something's going to happen to Reva. Like, she's not around after this. So she probably dies. I'm going to guess she dies, but I don't know. That would be the obvious choice, right? So they probably wouldn't necessarily do that. I'm second guessing everything. So
if there's a season 2, Reva lives. If there's no season 2, she is a goner.
Yeah,
that's what I think. But I wouldn't be surprised if they had the announcement about a season 2.
But we have to have a final battle between Obi-Wan and Vader, right? We have to have a full, like, Obi-Wan has to come, and that really hasn't happened. It kind of, like, they're hinting at it. Obi-Wan has to kind of get his groove back, right? He's got to really, and yeah, we need that scene from Qui-Gon. Maybe it'll be the first thing.
Could be.
Like, first thing we see, it's going to be Qui-Gon, and we're going to get, like, maybe we'll get a similar flashback to
maybe
with CGI de-aged Liam Neeson. Although Liam Neeson looks amazing for his age, I think he looks exactly the same as he did 20 years ago.
When you're a Force ghost, I think you're okay. I don't think.
That's true. Yeah, they can take more liberties with that. Yes.
Yeah, and this would be the first time. I think, it would be. It'd be a first time in Star Wars, if you go chronologically, that you see a Force ghost.
Yes.
So it would be surprise to Obi-Wan to see that, or to hear his voice. Maybe he hears Qui-Gon's voice the same way Luke hears his voice when he's attacking the Death Star.
Yeah, so exactly. And on Hoth later on. And then similarly, again, we heard at the end of Revenge of the Sith where Yoda said that he'd been talking to Qui-Gon, but didn't say he'd seen him. Did he? I don't remember that part. But he hinted at that. So I think we're going to see him. For sure we're going to see him. But I'm thinking what I was talking about is like a similar to the fight we had in this episode, the flashback fight scene. We could have a flashback scene with him and Qui-Gon. With a real de-aged Liam Neeson, right?
Oh, that's possible. Yeah, that's interesting. I also have to take back my prediction that he goes to Dagobah and sees Yoda. Not happening.
Not enough time.
If there's a season 2, that's what he's going to do, no doubt about it. But not in this season. I was totally wrong. I thought he was going to be going there. Episode, what was that now? Episode 4. I thought he was going to Dagobah. No way. So I don't think that's going to happen anymore. What else do we need to resolve here?
I mean, the whole thing about if we're going to get the whole story about where this Underground Railroad is going, maybe we'll find out where all these Jedi are.
Potentially, we'll find out where some Jedi are. Yeah. We'll also, we solved the backstory of Reva. Mm-hmm. So that's done.
She's going to do something. She's going to get involved in something coming up. So probably she'll show up and help Obi-Wan at the right time, I'm thinking.
Will help him, or if there's going to be a season 2, they can leave us hanging, and that drives me crazy if they do that. But and the Inquisitor's back, so we don't need any more of his story. What else? I think the battle's going to take up a good chunk.
Yeah, and I think that if there's a second season, they will announce it right away. It'll be like the Book of Boba Fett at the end of the Mandalorian season 2.
I hope.
Just like it'll be at the end of that episode. It'll say coming Christmas 2024 or whatever. Obi-Wan Kenobi 2.
Oh boy.
Something like that. Anyway,
there's another 10 years. There's another 10 years after this.
Yes.
So it's possible. Yeah. But that's when you start getting into here's something we won't see. I thought we would see the last shot would be Ewan McGregor looking like Alec Guinness with the white hair, and we'd flash forward, and everything was put back in place, and there he is watching Luke, and we just jump forward in time. There's no way that's going to happen if there's going to be a season 2. If there's a season 2, that's how season 2 will end. Is with Ewan looking just like Alec Guinness through some CGI effect, or
thin out his hair a bit, and thin, like he just had
Oh,
beard and stuff. He wasn't quite so hair. Like Ewan McGregor's much more hairy than Alec Guinness. So
You know, it'd be really interesting to watch the Obi-Wan Kenobi series and then A New Hope with kids or with someone who's never seen it, to see how, what do they think? Like when they see Alec Guinness, they'll go, they recast this.
who is this old guy playing Obi-Wan? What is this?
Yeah, what the hell? Right. I hate the recasting. Oh, they recast Leia. Oh, they recast Luke. They won't like any of it because they'll only be familiar with the original cast. But
all right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah. And I also want to give one more shout out to the little actor playing Leia.
Yeah.
I think she's doing a bang up job where no matter what they have her do, I buy it. I totally buy it. And she's good. She's good. I'd love to see her in ongoing in a second Obi-Wan series. That would be amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, we'll be watching it next week and talking about it on the podcast. Can't wait.
Oh my god! And well, I guess we'll find out if it's an hour and 33.
Right.
And then if anybody who listens to our podcast actually goes to the theater to see it, I guess they'll release it. But if they don't, I'd love to know how the Q&A goes. I guess there'll be lots of people tweeting.
Yeah, but I would still be interested to know. I would do the theater thing if I wasn't busy that night. I think I had plans on that Wednesday, but I would still do that. I might do that for a future thing that they do. I like that idea.
You know, in some cities they're having the full marathon. Watch all the Obi-Wan Kenobis followed by the last one.
Oh yeah.
But not in ours. In ours, they're only showing the last episode. I think it's 6:00 at the McGillivray Cineplex Odeon Theater. So it's only one theater here. So I checked the seating just out of curiosity. Looked like about half of it was sold already. So, and that's with zero promotion or anybody kind of talking.
Yeah, I wasn't even aware it was happening until you told me. So cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll find out how it goes. That's gonna do it for this episode of the Star Wars Nerds. I'm Dan Vadabunker.
I'm Kenton Larson. Don't let the Force hit you in the ass.
This had better work. Where did you dig up that old fossil? That's no moon.
Now I